Here's the full Lord of the Rings panel from 2025 C2E2.
Apparently we have failed to get a crowd shot. We all have to come down here and turn our backs on you, and you have to do the light thing again. And
1, 2, 3!
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Is the audio here really bad? Because I didn't understand a word she said.
Sorry, what?
Filmed in Sarawak in Borneo, on the island of Borneo, which for me was just incredible because I'm basically in a hotel in the jungle. I think Sarawak probably stands out as the best place I've filmed so far.
One of my favorite places, The Surface, a 2-character piece set and filmed entirely on Lake Michigan.
Gollum is never late. He is
that
always
was
precisely on time.
So smooth.
Andy, how's the new film coming on?
Which new film?
Boasting again.
Busiest man in the world.
Well, not the Hunt for Gollum film. Well, do you want me to tell you what it's all about? I can tell you the whole story. No, it's going really well. It's very exciting. It's very exciting. We're sort of just writing at the moment. It's all coming together, and we'll start prepping fairly soon. And then we're off to the races.
I feel like we have a front row seat. Because weren't we in Brussels?
No, it was Brussels.
Yeah. Was it in Brussels?
A
We
year
had
ago.
dinner and you were just starting it, and now it's
Yeah.
I've got a front row seat. I know I still don't like him. I like the movie, just not the lead. The actor's great. You know, for 2 years, dude, but that Hobbit, it's like, all right already.
New Zealand's pretty hard to beat, it's got to be said. I mean, it's a pretty amazing place. The Isle of Man, actually, I think is really beautiful. And John, I mean, it's home for you. It has been, hasn't it?
Yes, it's very beautiful. My favorite for The Lord of the Rings was that place down in South Island where we got out of those cars and looked round, and we were just ringed with mountains with snow on the top on this flat plain. Queenstown, isn't it?
We never got to the fjord.
Is it Edoras?
Isle, if it's Edoras.
Erewhon.
All right, to be clear, it was 25 years ago.
And some of us are old and senile now.
You're forgetting to age, John. It's really annoying. I would say that setting was absolutely transcendent, but there was also a volcano we were in.
Shining Hotel.
That hotel was my favorite hotel.
My favorite hotel.
The chateau.
We got into some
chateau.
shenanigans in that
Which
hotel.
they shut down.
There was a ghost.
We were all single at the time, apart from Sean, who's happily married with a daughter. We'll just leave it at that.
We went down there to film quite a lot of stuff, but one of the things we were supposed to film was on the river, and the river got flooded, like completely flooded, washed away the whole set that they had built for months and months. And we arrived, and they took us to the hotel, and there was just a ladder going up to a balcony. And that's how we had to get into the hotel. And there's people going down the main street on canoes. We were there for a couple of months, and as we stayed there, the water started to dissipate and go, and little restaurants would open up and shops that, for me, that was an amazing adventure.
That was great. They washed quite a few sets away, so we ended up doing a lot more canoeing in the film than we would have ordinarily done, because Pete said, that's all we can do. We're in Waterworld, so get in the boat.
May as well canoe it.
Yeah.
They had to commute by canoe to work.
Do you remember when you capsized a canoe?
Yeah.
Oh, you bit. I thought we had established this quite clearly, once and for all. The dwarf and the elf are in the canoe. The canoe capsized, and the elf, being the mean-spirited, pointy-eared devil that he is, blamed the dwarf. We had lunch and dried out. Thereafter, the elf got into the canoe with another Hobbit. Eeny, meeny, oh.
Wasn't me. I was always...
Was it me?
Wasn't me, I don't think.
Wasn't me.
Right.
He was on his own.
Okay. And it collapsed again.
But I don't think the elf has the body mass to actually tip a canoe.
Very light.
I'm not saying that you do. I'm just saying...
How quickly they turn. There wouldn't have been a bloody ring finding if it hadn't been for the dwarf. It's not about the hobbits. It's about a dwarf.
Lore about what film had the longest dolly track. In the caves, they set up this long track. They could only get it going so fast because... So I came up with an idea that they put a pole across the back, cinch it down. That sucker got going so fast.
Does anyone really know why the dolly track was invented? To teach dolly grips to walk upright.
On the DVD extras, watching Andy in the frozen river trying to catch a fish, I remember thinking, he's absolutely bashing his elbows and knees and ribs and keeps going. Like, as an actor, you try as hard as you can to stay in a scene, but I watched sequence thinking, you're getting battered there. And
right in the middle of winter that we were shooting there. And Pete was like, I don't think we can shoot here, you know. They decided to use torches to torch the whole place, so kind of like flamethrowered the snow away. So I put this wetsuit on. I thought, oh, well, that's gonna be fine. And I went in that first time. Swear my brain shrunk to the size of, well, other things shrunk to the size of, because I went straight under the water and came up again, and it was like, and the water was gushing really fast, and it was like going down this sort of sled run of rocks and stuff, and yeah, it was that was a pretty crazy thing. That was a
Remember that, did I?
I'm really sorry if I did.
No, I don't think so. I did have to endure cold water, though, in an alternate version of the scene at the end of Fellowship. I was the one initially to fall in the water and almost drown, and Sam saved me. And they rewrote it, and we reshot it as it is in the film. But the original version was me falling in and Sam saving me. And I had to be in, it was also a wetsuit, but with the Hobbit clothing, I couldn't have a full wetsuit on. So they had to cut the wetsuit at my, near my knee, and at various other places, I think around the neck as well. So it's not doing its job. A wetsuit is only functional if it can cover your entire body and create a seal. If there's no seal created, it is useless. A little extra insulation. So I was in that water, I think, uninterrupted, but, down and up for like 45 minutes, and I turned a shade of blue. And it took me like an hour and a half to 2 hours to warm up. It was wild.
Get ready for the foot story. Here comes the foot story.
I don't like working at night shoots. Night is for sleeping. And sometimes on a movie, they'll make you do scenes and all that when you should be sleeping. So we're doing a scene outside the door of Moria. The scene is basically us waiting before the monster comes and takes Frodo. It was a car park just outside Wellington, wasn't it?
Parking lot.
A parking lot.
It was at...
And they just filled it with water. And it was freezing. And somehow, we wore these Hobbit feet, as you know, but they were like sponge, which was great for running around. It made you feel like a Hobbit, But they were sponges, so if they got wet, they just came into your feet, and then you were just standing in cold water. And it was just getting later and later, and I was getting more and more tired, and my feet were freezing. And I like to think of myself, as Dom will confirm, I'm quite a hard man. I can take anything. But this day, it was so cold. And I had to say, look, after this take, I need to take these feet off. They were trying everything. They brought heaters over.
Hair dryers.
Hair dryers, Dom. Electric heaters. 3 bars.
No expense.
No expense.
Hot water bottles. Hot water. I remember, so some people, when they're in pain, when I'm in pain, I express it fully. Ow, I'm in pain, help me. You were like, I don't think I can go on.
He's quite stoic. You're quite stoic.
I was very near death.
He was slipping away.
I'm just thinking, it's not a very Lord of the Rings sentiment. I don't think I can go on.
But luckily, we got the shot and it was finished.
He's still got all his toes as well. He's still got 10 toes, right?
Yeah, I have. Although one of them is now underneath the other one. And I blame the Hobbit feet for that. And I've told Pete Jackson about that, actually. He was really interested, but then he just laughed. I thought there'd be compensation.
You would think so, right? I've got a permanent scar across my chest here because I wore a fat suit in the first film, and it was heavy. It was, you got a big gut. And over the course of, I would say, probably 6 months or so, I wore this fat suit, and it's created a permanent scar.
That's it. Indentation.
I said the same thing to Pete Jackson, and he just kind of giggled away.
We belong to a generation of actors who never steal from sets. Do you remember we had a security guard who was arrested and I think prosecuted because every night he just plundered the props and was selling them off.
And film, didn't he take film?
Did he really?
Yeah, and they got like FBI involved and stuff. That was intense.
I've seen things online on auctions and stuff of like Dominic Monaghan's sword from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I'm like, I've got that in my house. You know, the cape that was worn in the Two Towers, and I'm like, I've got that in my house. So just
I saw that.
a word of warning.
So you did nick
I saw
them?
that come up as
Be careful. I did nick.
It's a pretty funny moment. The moment where you go in and you open it because you want to confirm that you still have it.
Yeah.
I bought your fat suit off the internet, and I've been wearing it to try and get the same scar as you.
It's a bit gross, but it stunk, you guys.
Hey, you want to smell it now?
Couldn't wash it because it was kind of a foam kind of thing. You don't
I
want
would
the
never
foam.
wash it.
Oh, and the first thing that I would want to do would be get out this fat suit. So in the car on the way back, I'd take off my shirt and take down this kind of like leotard thing. And the boys would be like, oh, goddamn. It was a man must.
I heard man boobs mentioned.
I think we were given stuff, obviously, from Pete. I don't think, I mean, I don't know, but I don't think that many people stole things, but we were given clapperboards. I was given my sword. I think Hobbits all got feet and ears. You guys got the ring, right? Which is a great story. But yeah, no stealing, more gifting.
I took a map from Bag End, but I did ask for it.
It's kind of a myth, I think, with actors. That actors are allowed to steal stuff on set. Anything
I
I've ever
literally
got,
don't have it in my. I don't have it in my body. I can't steal. I'd have to ask.
Well, you think we've got allies out here, but they're asking you about larceny when there's cameras on.
Two things that I will steal. I'll steal sweets. I'll steal candy, which is terrible, but I will steal sweets, either from friends or maybe from shops. And the other thing is, don't play Monopoly with me, because if you take your eyes off me, I'm definitely stealing your money.
I
Definitely.
will. I showed my wife the video recently, and she'd never seen the interview. And so I rewatched it for the first time in a long time. And I don't know why I was so anti-wig. I was really resistant.
Yeah.
Will you wear wigs? Maybe.
Yeah.
Did you wear wigs? No. I'm like so resistant.
And I'm like, I just spent 18 months with you. You wore a wig every day. What is your problem?
Sean, you liked wearing wigs, didn't you?
Or having them ripped off.
So there's a piece of that I don't know if you know, that sometimes our capes they'd have multiples of them. So sometimes you get one on that you didn't have. And the day that we filmed outside of the Black Gates with all this shale rock and stuff, like the cape had an unusual, I don't think they ever used it again, an unusually large thing. It was like
the hood was massive.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's why we had our great moment together where Gollum in Gollum fashion ripped my wig off.
Completely unintentional, and you went into a major strop.
Well, no, I mean, yes, I did. But to be fair, I knew it was going to have to be put back on again. So technically, I was just going to be efficient.
And I was going through the works, which is feet and hair and wigs and stuff. And the rumor went around quite quickly of like, oh, Sean and Andy have had a little bit of a tiff on set. And then Sean came in.
I can only refer to a moment when I had to say, "Not the beard!" as he nearly ripped it off me. Bloody elves, you can't take them anywhere.
For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's a TV show that me and Dom have done, which is about to get shown in Canada, right? This week. It's not on in America yet, so don't panic. That you
It's coming.
It's coming. But anyway, we've been traveling the world and trying different food from different countries as a way of getting to know the people of those countries and places. Someone asked us, where have we not been?
Yeah.
And I've never been to India, ever. And I've always loved Indian food.
There they just call it food.
You've got to do it.
So-
That's
Yeah.
a great one, right?
Let's all go together.
That'd be great.
Okay.
India would be good.
You can cut right on the trains.
Definitely go together.
Yeah, well, we can figure that out. I think Thailand might be at the top of my list. Thai food is extraordinary and great people. Billy and I went when we were making Lord of the Rings. We went to Thailand.
We did.
You ate possibly the hottest food that you've ever eaten, and you thought that you might need to possibly enjoy a toilet moment in the ocean. Do you remember?
Well, yeah, because didn't you have to take a boat to where you?
Yeah. The owner of the restaurant came out, a lovely Thai guy, and said to Billy and I, you do realize what you've ordered, right? It's raw shrimp in chili oil. It's going to be extremely hot. We're like, yeah, we like spicy food, and we do like spicy food.
He actually said, you won't like it.
Don't like it.
And we said, bring it on. Yeah. Somebody told us you have to take a canoe to this little island. So me and him are canoeing over to an island. And we ate these shrimp, and they were delicious, right?
Excellent.
Oh. And then we get back in our canoe, and by this time the sun's going down, and there was flying fish.
I went, Billy, flying fish, look. And he went, where?
These shrimp took me over. I thought, Dom, I really need to go. And he's like, no, we're almost there. And I was like, no, I need to go now. But I was scared of these fish.
I'm at the front, and Billy just says, don't look back, whatever you do. And I did look back for a second. He's on the edge of the boat like that.
That was dangerous.
It was. And then we got to the shore.
How did you keep the boat steady?
Oh, it was tough.
Holy fuck!
And Billy's very amicable. He doesn't shy away from helping out. And, you know, if you're cooking together, he's doing 50%. If you're doing a job, he's doing 50%. We got to the shoreline, and he just said, I'm off. And he just ran to the toilet and left me with the boat, which was heavy, the kayak to bring up on the beach.
So I did. I was just gone.
By the time I got to our hotel room, things had happened, and Billy was lying on the bed, covered in sweat. Do you remember?
Which is unusual that I was covered in sweat, because this hotel room was me, him, and Orlando Bloom. And he never came to the island, but he got to sense that we'd been. He loves a room to be freezing cold.
I do.
So he put on the air conditioner, full blast. So he's lying in bed fine. I've just had this awful experience.
It's like 57 degrees in there. And Orlando and Billy are like that.
We're in bed with like sweaters on, freezing. I just have diarrhea. It was coming out both ends. It was awful. And it's freezing cold. And all I had was Orlando Bloom to hold me close.
Lovely. Best is myth.
Why didn't Orlando come to the island with you?
Yeah, he's probably chasing someone around the island.
Yeah.
He's not very good in canoes, I think we've already established that.
Well, established that, yeah.
You're the one that I want. You are the one I want. Precious.
Home, where my thoughts are at home. When I
Do you know what? I was just going to say
You
for
are?
you, Simon and Garfunkel, I am a rock, I am an art, because you are Frodo's rock. I was going to say, that's weird. We had a Simon and Garfunkel thing just then.
We're connected.
Maybe I Will Survive.
There's a lovely Beatles song on Let It Be called Two of Us.
It's one of my favorite Beatles songs.
It's a lovely song. It's an old song, you know.
Don't trust hobbits.
You are a hobbit.
I know, but you know. We are the more decent kind. Store hobbits are far more, you know.
Never put on a prosthetic for that length of time.
I don't know if there's a specific lesson, but I feel like I was 18 when I went to New Zealand, and I was 22 when we were finished. So it really was over the course of those formative years of growth, of sort of leaving your teen years behind.
I've got one that's weird because, like, it was Lord of the Rings. You could possibly have greater fortune in your life than to get to participate in something like that as the, apex of your life and your career and everything. But it was hard. Nobody wants to hear, like, oh, well, the actors, it was hard. But it was hard. And I remember at one point, I've been doing this 45 years. They used to be like 3 months, 4 months. And when we got to 5 months, my body clock was like, we're in uncharted territory here. Remember, I was so heavy. I put on all this weight, carrying the backpack, and the backpack was annoying. And I just remember having a panic attack. The first time I had a real panic attack was when I knew we were going to have to put the prosthetic, when they were doing the mold. I remember going into our makeup bus. I've told this story before, but it was dark in there. It was basically like a truck, like a hollowed out truck, and they put makeup stations in it. It was like our space, and everybody decorated it, with their own pictures and whatever. And I went in there and I saw my face in the dark in the mirror, and I was like seized up. And then I just kind of looked at myself, and my thought was, what if I can't do this? Like, what if this is too hard? There's no quitting. I'm a second-generation actor, and if my mom taught me anything, it's that you're a professional. You show up, you hit your mark, you say your line, you do your job. That's it. You give the director what they want. So I just remember thinking, like, it's too much. And then I kind of breathed through it a little bit. That's when I took out the black marker and did the thing on my mirror, and I counted how many days we had left, and I treated it like every night it was ceremonial. And you were so mad at me. You're like, why are you just like enjoy the experience?
I was mad.
And I was like, I know, but I was like, this is for my my psychology. But the lesson that I learned was that we are capable of way more than we think we are. We have incredible capacity.
I think probably the lesson that I've taken with me for the rest of my life is, if someone says it's shit, not chocolate, you should trust. You only need to learn that lesson once or twice, maybe. And
I tell you, that reminiscence about the hard work involved in making films. We generally work a 12-hour day, plus travel on either end. We generally work a 6-day week, but sometimes we get lucky and only work a 5-day week. That's a lot of hours, and particularly when you're doing physical things and having to focus and concentrate, by the end of the week you really do get bone tired. Morale often starts that high, and within day 2 or 3 it's gone down to about there. That never happened with Lord of the Rings. We started up there and we ended up there. It was glorious. And that's the one thing that's ingrained in all of us actors. No matter what, the show must go on.
The chocolate fish really stands out. Maybe not the best food, but one of the better experiences.
Oh yeah,
regular.
Beautiful place.
Yeah,
oh, it was the most amazing. But it was such a glorious setting. It was in a place called Scorcher Bay. And
I'd never had spirulina before I moved to New Zealand. And at the Chocolate Fish and all around New Zealand, they serve this slime green-looking drink, which is algae and a little bit of banana, maybe sometimes in there, maybe some orange juice. I got full-on addicted to spirulina.
The Maori people of New Zealand do this thing called a hungy, where they get hot rocks underground and then they wrap meat and vegetables and put it on the hot rocks, cover it with dirt, and then they let it cook underground for a couple of hours, and then they dig it back up. And this food is just so good. Whether it's because you know it's under your feet cooking and you're getting more and more hungry. I was hungry for a hungy.
Lovely.
The great thing about New Zealand is that the Pacific snapper there is absolutely abundant and wonderful to eat. And I'm delighted to say, lads, that 5 weeks ago now, I was out in the Bay of Plenty and I got 8 snap. Actually, I'm lying. I only got 3 of them. Oh, and damn good they are.
Well, I mean, if it's actually doing scenes, obviously Frodo and Gandalf and Galadriel and Bilbo going to the Grey Havens just had us all crying for the entire day, and we did it 3 days for a few different reasons.
Tell them why, Dom. Tell them why.
Sean
What happened?
neglected to put his waistcoat or his vest on
right.
after
Waistcoat
lunch.
gate.
We had to do it again.
We went to lunch and we came back and I hadn't put the vest on. So we filmed all this crying scene and hugging and everything, and then they realized that we had to go back and shoot
I
it
will
again.
have to say, I don't know that's entirely your fault, because there are checks
Yeah.
along the way.
I accept responsibility for the mistake.
Fair, but also,
Thank you, though.
yeah.
See, it's always looking after me.
Our script supervisor should have noticed it as well.
And then the film got ruined,
They
it got
did.
destroyed,
Oh,
and we had
after,
to do
yeah.
it again. We refilmed it, and that piece of footage was destroyed in, was it rain or what's
No, it was in the chemicals they used to make film into moving pictures.
got destroyed, so we had to do it again. And Pete Jackson, who's he's kind of big on practical jokes, he came over and told us, and we all thought he was joking. Come on, Pete. And he's like, no, honestly, we have to do it again.
Third time was indeed a charm.
So, I think it was actually my very, very first day on set with you guys, because so these guys had been filming for about four or 5 months, going through the preparations for becoming Gollum, and I was often on my own and crawling about and kind of practicing and doing what I was doing. And then, because of course it was 3 films all shot, out of order, and my first scene was scene 765 of film 3. I remember crawling onto the set and sort of becoming Gollum, and with my very thin lycra suit on, and then getting into character, and then Pete Jackson laughing at me, and because all the crew were kind of going, who is that guy and what the hell's he doing here? Get him out of shot. I don't think anybody really knew what I was doing there on the very first day. I mean, we then shot the scene and that was a very beautiful thing. But it was months of sort of preparation and then standing there, and when I say emotional, it did make me laugh that I could see Peter standing in front of me giggling like a child because, you know, here was this character Gollum about to come to life, but all it was this guy with a shaved head in this very thin suit kind of go...
People didn't know what you were doing because it had never been done before. Like, even the vocabulary. I remember seeing you pained that they would refer to the takes with you as a reference pass, and it actually took a long time. It was real performance. And it sounds so stupid now because everybody knows what an extraordinary performance it was, but mine would be, so the very first day we filmed, Maori elders were brought to the stage to bless the film, and I'll never forget what the one elder said. He said, you know, you must be good stewards of the land. He wished that the land would take care of us throughout our journey, and that we had to be good stewards of the land because it had been here long before us and it'll be here long after us. So then, you know, you go through 2 years or, you know, whatever it was. Like I said, for me, it was hard. So it was like, there was so much fun and there was so much excitement and there was so much of every emotion you can possibly imagine. But one of the predominant emotions for me was the difficulty of it. And when we got to the last day, after we did You Shall Bow to No One, my friends, and then we went back to the exact same warehouse or whatever it was that the Maori elders had been, and they were going to gift us with things. And they gave me my backpack and the sword and the costume and just all this embarrassment of riches. But then they pulled out Allie, my daughter who was 3, who plays Eleanor in the last shot of the last scene of the last movie. I'll tell her you said so. She's 28 now. I know. In the time that we had gotten to New Zealand and when we finished, she'd like tripled in size. So when she played Eleanor, she was, you know, this big, and now she was this big. They pulled out her dress, Eleanor's dress, and handed it to us, and I lost it.
Friends, give it up for the cast of Lord of the Rings!
Be sure to like and subscribe.